Do you think maybe you're losing your mind sometimes? Do you keep doubting yourself after difficult conversations? Have you ever tried to discuss something that happened with somebody, completely confident that you knew exactly what happened, that you were correct, that you remembered it correctly, only to walk away wondering, hmm, maybe I was wrong about that. Maybe you were certain that they said something hurtful. Maybe you clearly remember a promise that they made. Maybe you remember an event unfolding one way, but by the end of the conversation, you were thinking, maybe I remembered it wrong. If that sounds familiar, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a bad memory, but it may mean that you're involved with somebody who's very good at creating self doubt. Here's how that works. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that memory works like a video camera, but it doesn't. Memory is reconstructed every time we try to remember something. We fill in the gaps, we emphasize some details, we forget others, and our confidence isn't always related to our accuracy. Most of the time, this isn't a problem because the people around us generally remember events in roughly the same way. So we get some validation that way. The problem comes when you're dealing with someone who consistently rewrites reality. After enough conversations like this, you begin to question your own judgment, if not your own sanity. Here's what that often sounds like, some of the things they might say to you. I never said that. You are just too sensitive. That's not what happened. You're imagining things. You always overreact. Now, if you notice, these responses don't actually address the issue that you were trying to discuss. Instead, they shift the focus to your memory, your perception, or your emotional stability. Now you're no longer talking about what happened. You're defending your ability to know what happened. And that's a very different conversation. Many manipulative people don't simply disagree, they create uncertainty. They'll mix accurate details with inaccurate ones. They'll remember events with complete confidence, even when they're mistaken. They'll introduce unrelated examples from 6 months ago. They'll change the subject enough that you lose track of what was even the original issue. Before long, you're mentally juggling five different arguments at once. Eventually, people just simply give up, not because they think the other person's right, but because they're exhausted. One of the most common things I hear in my office is this: I just don't trust my judgment anymore. And that's one of the most damaging consequences of emotionally manipulative relationships. Over time, you stop asking, is this true? Instead, you start asking, well, maybe I am the problem. Here's what I recommend. When important disagreements come up, slow the conversation down. Stay with one issue. If the discussion starts bouncing from topic to topic, gently bring it back. You might simply say, let's finish talking about this first. It can also help to write down important conversations soon afterward, not necessarily to build a legal case against someone, but to preserve your own thinking while it's still fresh. Most importantly, ask yourself one simple question: what actual evidence caused me to change my mind? Did new facts emerge? Or did you simply become confused after 30 minutes of circular arguing? Now, these are not the same thing. Changing your mind because you learned something new is healthy. Changing your mind because someone made you doubt your own reality is something entirely different. So if you find yourself questioning your own judgment after nearly every disagreement, don't automatically assume that the problem is your memory. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is to start trusting your own observations again.